Aloha guys, welcome to another After Effects tutorial. My name is Jay Scanlon and today we're going to be continuing our basic editing training. And in the last tutorial we created some keyframes and we added and removed some of those keyframes and created this little animation with our text. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of these keyframes. So you can click, hold and drag to select all of the keyframes. Just hit backspace and as you can see all our keyframes have been deleted. Now we have just our static text and that's what we want. Today we're going to be talking about color correction and we're going to color correct this footage that we have. In order to do that we're going to have to open a new layer and we're going to have to open an adjustment layer. Now the adjustment layer is like a filter for footage or photos that are below this adjustment layer. Anything that is changed within the adjustment layer will change anything that is below the adjustment layer. So once we add effects, we don't want to add them right to our footage, and the reason being is because our footage is compressed and we want it to stay that way. Adding effects to it will make the footage larger size, and it will be a lot harder for us to work within After Effects. You'll start seeing long pauses and all those kinds of things. So let's get started. Now that we have our adjustment layer opened, highlighted, we can now go to our effects panel and we can go down here to color correction. As you can see, we have a lot of different effects that are available to us. We're only going to cover a few of them because obviously there's just no time to be able to cover all these different color correction effects, but you can play around with them. But some of them I just showed to you at this time. We have your auto color, which pretty much is self-explanatory. It just automatically tries to figure out the darkness and light between the darkness and light within your footage, and also you can easily find your effects here in the effects control panel, and that is right next to your project panel here on the left. You can also delete these effects just by hitting the delete button, and we have removed our effect. We're going to go and look at just a couple more of these just so we can show you what you can do with this. So we have our footage, and let's try the one that I like to use as tint. And what tint does is it's like saturation for your footage. So as you can see, you're starting to go straight from your black and white or no saturation, and then you can start getting brighter and brighter. You can see how you can kind of use this effect to kind of tone down some of those tones, make it just look a bit more appealing. And you can also add to the effects you've already added. So we have the tint. Maybe we can change the color. You can click here on Colorama, and as you can see, it's already started to make some changes. That is our output cycle. As you can see, it's got the spectrum right here, and you can change that very easily by just clicking here on the preset palette, and you can scroll down. You can, if you type copper, you can see the different adjustments that can be made. You can just play around with it. For Colorama and some of these other effects, you can use them for whatever purposes you want, but for the use of color correction, we would probably use some of the more, I guess, dynamic of the effects that will actually help us and with our footage and the way it looks. So color correction, let's try maybe a contrast, brightness and contrast, and we can play around with those settings. You can click, hold and drag brightness just to pick a brightness, maybe brighten it a little bit and then add a bit of contrast, so those shadows kind of stick out. You can just play around with some of these effects and just get to know what everything does. Also you can play around with the levels, and the levels is like in Photoshop, it's the brights and the darks. So if you click and hold the brights, it brings up the brightness in the footage, and then all the darks, you can bring up those dark spots just by dragging on this little graph right here. But you can play around with it and see what kind of effects you can come up with, especially within color correction. But that is it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to use as many effects as you can. Try to make it color corrected so that it looks appealing, not only for the audience but for yourself. My name is Jayla Scan, and we look forward to teaching you more in the next tutorial.